What's going on, everybody, and welcome back to the JERRY1 Podcast. It feels like a new season of the JERRY1 Podcast because this is episode number 30, another milestone for the JERRY1 Podcast. We have reached episode 30. Today, I'm recording this on Tuesday, May 25th, 2021. Our conversation with our guest was yesterday afternoon at noon. Is it noon? Do you call it noon, afternoon? I don't know. But that's when I talked to him. And it was yesterday, Monday, May 24th, 2021. So this is episode number 30. I'm your host, Nick Felice, two-time JERRY1 champion, as we have now moved on to just fantasy baseball. Basketball and hockey is in the books. No more of that until hopefully October, I'm assuming. But the playoffs are going on. They're good. And I'm going to get the off-season article out at least before the finals. So I always try to make those special off-season articles, but to recap the whole season and going into next year. But we got to move on because it is still fantasy baseball, and we are in week 8 of the fantasy baseball season. What have we missed? It's been a couple weeks since we've done a podcast. Fletch has dominated still. I was undefeated. Fletch got me beat. He beat me. That is now the 24th straight season that someone will not go undefeated in JERRY1 Fantasy Sports in 24 seasons. It's never been done. I was 5-0 before Fletch took me down in week 6. We're into week 8 now. Me and Fletcher at the top of the standings, still at 6-1. Fletch has got the tiebreaker over me, and so it's getting good. We got a couple finalists from last year, Johnny and Paul, sitting outside the playoffs. So we'll talk about that. So we're going to talk about that. And today's guest is one of those teams that is also outside the playoffs, just barely. My good friend, Curt Irland, is back on the pod for his third time now. Curt is on for his third time. I talked to him yesterday at noon. So it was a good conversation to talk about his baseball team and also his basketball team that was sitting outside the playoffs. How about that Anthony Davis three-way trade? We're going to talk about that as well. Going to be a good one. Episode 30. Episode 10, we had Jeremy on. Episode 20. Who's on episode 20? Episode 20, we had... Man, who was on episode 20? This is a bad luck. This is not a good luck. We're going to keep it, though. We're not going to edit this out. Who was on episode 20? I know Jeremy was on 10. Of course, Justin Hill. Justin Hill was on episode 20. And now we got Curt Irland on episode 30. So milestone after milestone. Episode 30 is getting going right now. Curt Irland on the show. Going to be a good one. Talking fantasy baseball. And we're starting now. That conversation with Curt will be on just a second. But first, let's talk about fantasy baseball. Let's get you caught up. Let's get you talking. Advance your mindset of the game. Learn a little bit about fantasy baseball as well as looking through our league that we have here in JERRY1. So fantasy baseball, Fletch, you see Fletch at the top of the standings. I'm right there. Matt has played well. He had a big win over Blake in week 7. He had a big win over Sam back in week 5. So it's been some good times for Matt. He's won 3 in a row. Sam bounced back after that loss over Matt. He's won 2 in a row. He's right there. He's always right there. Blake has got the 5th seed over Larry currently right now because Blake beat Larry back in week 6. And, Blake seems to get the upper hand over Larry. And Larry's a good team. He's got a lot of good players on this team. I believe he was 3rd in scoring yesterday. I would assume he's still 3rd in scoring. We'll see here. Yes. Yeah, he's right on my heels. He is 3rd in scoring, even though he is the 6th seed. So this is a good Larry team. He's had a lot of unlucky weeks in his career in this league. I think this is a better franchise than his record shows overall. He's done a good job. I think he's got a shot at the first playoffs this year. Yes, I know good teams like Johnny, Paul, Curt right on his heels. We'll see if Larry can hang on. There's a lot of weeks left, 11 weeks left. So the first 7 weeks is who you play twice. Now we're into those weeks where you only play each other once. In the next 4 weeks are the 4 owners you only play once this year. And I play Larry this week, and that will be our only meeting. I'm not undefeated. Like I said, 24th straight season, we did not have an undefeated team in JERRY1 Fantasy Sports after Flex took me down in week 6. That was a great game. It sucks I didn't get to talk about it a lot. It wasn't the greatest game. Fletch did beat me pretty good. He's a good team. Fletch blew a game on Sunday to Matt back in week 2 because he's won 5 in a row. So this Fletch team is, if he hangs on with that, he's an undefeated team. But it's hard to get really hyped up for a Fletch right now because of his collapses that we've seen in fantasy football the last 2 years. Yes, it's a different league. Yes, it's a different league. But, you just got to, Fletch only made that one playoff back in his first ever season in 2017 fantasy football. So we'll see if Fletch can hang on. Lots of time to determine that. I mean, even these guys at 1 and 6, the Andrew, the Jacks, the Joshes, Jack and Josh down at the bottom of the standings once again. Hate to see that. Jack has lost 6 in a row since his 1-0 start. Josh does have the win over Matt. Matt, I mean, interesting. If this was the NCAA tournament, this is interesting for Matt. He beat Fletch, but he lost to Josh. And that's interesting to see in a schedule. That's Matt's schedule. But, I mean, we got to talk about the 2 finalists, Johnny and Paul, sitting right outside the playoffs right now. I just don't think you look at the owner and you think, oh, Johnny and Paul got to make the playoffs, right? I don't see a playoff team in either one of these teams. I just don't think they're as good. I might be wrong. I think Curt can get into the playoffs. Curt needs someone to bump out. And do you think of Larry? But this Larry team's good. Could be Blake, but this Blake team's good. I mean, these 6 teams that are in right now are good. So we'll see which one Curt can try to get bump out. But if Johnny and Paul, I just don't think your team is good enough to get in this year. But we've seen Paul get sneaked in. We saw him in fantasy basketball. Johnny's never missed the playoffs in this league. We'll see what happens. I personally don't think Johnny and Paul will be in the postseason by regular season. Yeah. Now, Jack, on the other hand, he's got a good team, man. For 1 and 6, not a bad team. He's got the best pitcher in the game, Garrett Cole. And he's got Shohei Ohtani. He's got the best hitter in the game right now in Vladimir Guerrero Jr. So, fantasy-wise. So, I mean, Jack's got a good team. Larry's got a good team. And these guys are scoring well as me and Fletch. I think right now, I think me and Fletch are the two best teams, but that's just my personal opinion. I think Matt's got a good team. I think Sam's got a good team. They're always right there. Matt hasn't made the playoffs in this league since the inaugural 2018 season. You got to keep that in mind. So it's been a while since we've seen Matt in the playoffs in this league. And Blake made it to 1 year, 1 seed, 2019. Larry's never made it. Sam's never missed the playoffs. I've never missed the playoffs. Well, obviously, made it either. But to be interesting, I think Andrew and Josh. It takes Andrew a few years. It looked like to get his franchise going. Remember, it took him 4 years in fantasy football to finally make the playoffs. So lots of work Andrew has to do here with this team. Josh, on the other hand, big game against Paul. Paul's always owned him. It'd be nice to see Josh get this win this week, but I think Paul's going to win it. I would put Paul to 500, but I think 10 weeks still. I don't see where this Paul team finishes over 500. I don't see where this Johnny team finishes over 500. But prove me wrong. Prove me wrong. It should be fun. That's preparing for week 8. I mean, you got some big matchups. Curt versus Sam. Kurt's always had the upper hand over Sam. Kind of surprising. So we're going to talk about that with Curt. Get his thoughts on Sam this week and his team going forward. And of course, you got Matt taking on Johnny. Never beaten Johnny before. Larry's never beaten me. We play each other. Jack versus Fletch. Let's see if Jack can get this would be a huge win to get him going again. If you can. And then, of course, Josh versus Paul. We'll see if Josh can beat Paul. He's beaten him before in this league a long time ago, 2018, inaugural season. And then, of course, Andrew versus Blake. There is no rivalry there. But Curt versus Sam is going to be a good one. That's always a good one. Even though Curt has won 4 of the 5 meetings, that's always a good one to watch. And I expect it to be a good one going into the weekend. So that's it for fantasy baseball. Glad to catch up a little bit. Got a lot of time still. Lots of time. I know it's week 8, first week 8 we've had in 2 years. So because last year was only 7-week regular season, we'd be in the playoffs right now. So that's just how crazy, how short last season was. But here we are. Curt versus Sam should be a good one. And here's that conversation I promised from yesterday with Curt. Here is that conversation with Curt. Enjoy. Today's guest is back on the podcast for his 3rd time. He's here to talk about his fantasy baseball team. He probably doesn't want to talk about his fantasy basketball team, but we might touch on it a little bit later.
No.
Back on the pod. Curt, how's it going?
Great, man. Thanks for having me again.
Yeah, and look at that great view you got from behind you.
That's right, man. New York City.
There you go. Let's get right into it. Baseball team, fantasy baseball team. You got here, 3-4, just outside the playoffs. You're actually you've been scoring pretty well. I mean, I think you're 7th in scoring right now. Just give me your thoughts right now on this baseball team here in the early going.
Well, as usual, I have a lot of players that are on the IL. I need Bellinger to get it together and come back. I have some pitchers that don't always show up, but I think for right now, my team's not looking too bad. I just need some players to show up once in a while.
Yeah, and so I look at your draft. You drafted hitters early in your draft. You went hitters early. Your first 3 picks, all hitters. But it seems like your pitching has, you've also not drafting pitchers early, but you've built a good pitching rotation. Jose Ureñas has been a nice surprise for where you drafted him. Howard Glasnow's good. What are your thoughts on this pitching staff?
It's a nice young pitching staff. I've also Soroka on the IL. He's supposed to come back in the next month or so. So I think drafting hitters early worked out for me this year. I wanted to try something different instead of just starting with pitcher off. And I think Tatis was the right first pick.
Yeah. I was going to ask you, Tatis, when did you draft him? Was it?
Seventh, I think.
Seventh overall. Has he lived up to your first round expectations?
Absolutely. El Nino should have been the number one pick. He's unbelievable.
Yeah. And does like a seventh pick, that is the middle of the draft. What were your initial thoughts when you saw you had the seventh pick?
Oh, I thought I was gonna not get someone that was gonna be okay, but I didn't think Tatis was gonna fall that far. But I think any pick in the first round that was gonna be a good pick. There's a lot of good players in the league that can do well.
Would you agree that a seventh or a late first round pick is not as bad in baseball than it is in basketball, where you get a top player there?
Absolutely. Yeah. If you get a top pick in basketball, I feel like you're set for the playoffs. If you get a later, a little harder, but you can still manage.
Absolutely. What are your thoughts on Kyle Lewis? He was hurt. This is my brother's boy here. He's actually he hasn't done great of late, but what are your thoughts on Lewis? Rookie.
The season's still young. He's still young. He can still get it together. The Mariners, they're struggling right now. They're not really hitting. Pitching's not good. But he might be on the trading block in the next week or two. He's not living up to what he did last year, that's for sure.
Trading block. Now, this is week 8 now. We didn't even see a week 8 last year. This is a full season again, 18 weeks. We haven't seen a trade, but obviously when I talk about you and your team, there always seems to be trade rumors around your team, even if there isn't. Is there anything to announce?
I sent out a couple of trades yesterday. I'm just waiting to hear back. It's people down in the standings. I'm not going to give anything away until they look at it. They might not look at it.
No, I might have done your trade. You offered me you really wanted Ohtani, but once Stanton went down, that really made my decision a lot easier to not trade away Shohei Ohtani, and he's been an absolute stud this year. You're gonna have to really pull something off to really get him off my hands.
He's unbelievable this year too. He's pitching and hitting unbelievably. It's hard to trade him away.
Let's see. So you're right outside the playoffs, 3 and 4.
No.
Do you look at this baseball league as tight as the basketball league? Because that basketball league was tight.
I think they're both pretty tight. The basketball one, anyone in that league, I think, their team can get hot and make a run in the playoffs like Paul did this year. I thought Paul was going to pull away in the championship, and too bad, Paul. Too bad.
You had a little bit of a skid there for a little bit. You lost to Paul. I think he scored the least amount of points. He just didn't have a great week.
No.
Paul seems to always get that upper hand on you, but right now you guys got the same record,
He beat me in baseball this year already too.
Yeah, and you will get another shot, I think, last week of the regular season or something like that.
All right, good.
Close to it, but a guy you play this week is my brother's college friend, Sam Shields, who's always been a threat, in this league. But did you know you're actually 4-1 all time versus Sam in this league?
Anyway. Oh.
Yeah, in the baseball league. You've had the upper hand over a guy that a lot of people can't say they had. So you play him this week. Do you take that into consideration going in this matchup?
No, because anything can happen this week. I can get 3 more players hurt this week. Pitchers might not be able to pitch as many games this week. What's his record this year?
He is 5-2.
Yeah, that's tough. I think there 3 guys at the top. They're 6-1, 5-2.
Yeah, yours truly 6-1.
Yeah, of course.
My one loss against Fletch. Fletch has been playing pretty good.
He's got a good team.
Yeah, he does. And I know you're not in the football league, but Fletch's image in that football league, he's always started off well, and he always choked, and he doesn't make the playoffs. He made it 1 year, but he's choked the last 2 years. So we'll see what he does here. But he's got a good team. You actually play him next week. So
I got to win this week.
Yes. And then, of course, you play Josh. You play Josh after that. Only time you play Josh, so you cannot lose that game.
Yeah, that's good. That's a freebie right there.
Yeah, then you beat Jack, of course. Jack and Josh, man, not surprising to see them at the bottom of the league again, but
I love to see it though.
Yeah, it's been some struggling time for them. But 18-week regular season. What are we shooting for this year? 3-4 right now.
I got to make playoffs. That's the goal this year. At least make playoffs, make a little run. I don't want to be just on the outside and like in every other league. I actually have to make it. I don't think I've made the.
What's that?
I don't think I've made the playoffs yet in any league because last year I was leading scorer in baseball and didn't make playoffs.
Yeah, and then you didn't make the basketball. Then you didn't make the basketball, but yeah, leading scorer. It was only a 7-week regular season, but you were the top team after those 7 weeks. You're not the top team after these 7 weeks, is, but you're scoring well. You're 7th in scoring. You're perfect where you are. You're 7th place, 7th in scoring. So it's
right.
And it's going to take a lot because Fletch has got a pretty good lead. What would it mean to win another scoring championship?
It wouldn't mean anything if I don't make the playoffs or win that championship. It won't mean anything if I don't win anything after that.
What would you say if someone said your scoring championship is an asterisk last year?
Oh, because of the shortened season? Oh, that's disrespectful. Is like the asterisk next to the Dodgers World Series?
Disrespectful.
Yeah. I'm taking it.
Yeah. But Paul's 8-0 record? Asterisk?
I'll give it to him. That's hard. No, that's tough.
He did lose the last game. That was tough. That was tough. But he started off 8-0. Is there a you can save me if you want. Is there a big threat in this league? Matt's played well. Sam's played well. Fletch.
There's about 3 or 4 people that are top of the standings right now that could not lose another game the rest of the season. They have a good enough team. They know what they're doing. But yeah, I think you and Fletch up top, you have a pretty good team to make it all the way.
Yeah. But that doesn't it's the long, like you said, the long season. You could be up there, you've been up there before. You've made the playoffs in this league before. You just gotta put it all together. Yeah, I think you got a good team, man. I wish I had Tyler Glass now. That would be nice. That would be nice to have. But yeah, you play Sam this week. It's Monday. We're recording this on a Monday afternoon. I think there's a game at 1:00 here. You got anybody pitching today?
I think I have one pitch today.
You have Spencer Turnbull. Did you have him for the no-hitter?
No, someone dropped him as he was throwing it.
As he was throwing it?
Yeah.
And it was Fletch. Whoa.
Yeah.
He actually spent some time. He was on Blake's team, and then Fletch dropped him again, and then Curt picks him up. How about that?
He's having a pretty good season. The Tigers can't really score for him, though.
Unless they're playing the Mariners, obviously.
Yeah.
Yep. But, it's early. I mean, what can you say about this team? I mean, does this team feel like a playoff team right now?
I think I'm missing another good starter, or I think I need another dominant outfielder. I have Joey Gallo. He strikes out every game. Lewis isn't showing up. Bellinger's hurting. So I'm a player or two away from really making a run.
What do you thought of all these no-hitters?
It's unbelievable. It's a pitching league now.
Yeah. And this fantasy league has always been starting pitching.
Right.
So
Yeah, well, we got 7 no-hitters this year already or something crazy.
I think 7 if you count Bumgarner, which I do. I count it. 7,
Yeah.
7-8 no-hitter. But,
That's pretty good for 2 months in.
Yeah, it's only week 8. But I guess let's talk about it. Let's talk about the basketball team. The basketball team, you missed the playoffs. You had your chances. I mean, you not like you didn't have chances that Justin had. Justin Hill was just all he had to win was like one game last week. He just absolutely choked. Your team was just fighting through a lot of stuff, and then a trade. You made a big trade. You were part of that 3-way trade with me and Matt, and you got Anthony Davis, and he never played for you. So weird when it went down because he got injured. The trade wasn't through yet, and yeah. What are your thoughts on the basketball season overall?
Making that trade, I saw that he was day to day. I didn't think it would turn into 2 months. Mm-hmm. I don't know what happens. I made the trade. I didn't make some move to try to make a playoff push, and it was for the wrong player.
Yeah, you didn't even get in the playoff. You didn't get in the playoffs, but even being a top team in that basketball league this year, when you said how tight it was, it didn't even help them. The top 3 guys, Blake, Kyle, and Larry, all lost their first playoff game and lost their chances at the championship. They were 3 really good teams. And then of course Sam and Paul make their runs. Sam wins it all over Paul. And even Matt was 4th in scoring. He lost in his first playoff game. What are your thoughts on that playoffs wildness?
It's on whose team's hot right now. It's what team's going to show up. Paul and Sam's team, every player on their team showed up for every day. That's all the playoffs is. It makes it fun. Especially
in basketball, I think sometimes it's just, having your guys play. Like Sam got Curry back. Paul had Jokic the whole season. They didn't go through everyone went through some kind of injuries or some kind of COVID. But, I think they had it as less than a lot of those people did in the playoffs. And especially, I think of my brother's team, LeBron going down. He lost him for a while. Really hurt his chances. Yeah. So it just, it just shows, like you're sitting as a 7th place team in baseball right now. All you got to do is get in, and you got a shot at the playoffs, even if it's not a bye or whatnot. But
right.
But Paul, last 2 seasons, you missed the playoffs, but Paul falls short in both of those seasons.
Yeah, he's right there though.
In the finals.
That's gotta hurt.
It's not only just you and Paul taking shots with your team names. I see you see Fletch's team name in a baseball league. Have you seen the team logo?
No, I haven't.
If you really look close on it, I think it's a picture of a cat with my face on it.
All right, that's great.
Nick Feline, whatever. He got me. Finally a Nick Fletcher rivalry.
About time.
But about time, yeah. But this trade with Anthony Davis, will this make you trade less?
Oh, hell no. There's one bad trade. It didn't work out. I took a chance. Same with the Drummond trade. I took a chance.
Yeah, the Drummond trade. Explain that.
Well, Davis was out, so I thought, Drummond's going to get bought out. Thought the Cavs were going to just let him go, and then they just let him sit on the bench for a month and waste that money. I thought he was going to get bought out by the Lakers quicker. It was a bad trade.
Yeah.
It is what it is.
And we thought at the time you gave home slaps there a great player, but it didn't work out for him either. So he didn't even come out with 3rd place. So me and Matt Matt made the playoffs. I didn't make the playoffs, so it wasn't like he helped out the other team too much.
Right.
So that didn't really play an effect. But basketball, I should be here. I would assume in October, so it's not going to be that long of an off season before you get back out there. Still fighting for that first championship.
Yep.
There's a lot of you though. You're not alone. There's a lot of people still fighting for that first championship, and maybe someday, maybe this summer of baseball. But
Maybe.
all right, Curt. Anybody who comes on my show for a third time plays my new game called JERRY1 Millionaire. It is a condensed version of Millionaire. It is only 10 questions, 10 points, 20 points, 30 points, all the way up to 100 points is you can win. The top score is 60 points right now. Top score. And there's 2 checkpoints at the 30-point and the 60-point question. I don't expect anyone to ever walk in this game. but the 3 lifelines you got is a hint, a 50-50, and a double shot. 4 multiple choice questions, just like a Millionaire. From easier to harder, just like a Millionaire. Curt, are you ready to play?
I'm ready.
All right. For 10 points, do not overthink these first couple. For 10 points, how many career wins, regular season playoffs do you have in baseball? I know this has been a little challenging because I haven't been able to get some stats out, but we'll see how you do. Baseball. Here we go. A, 10 wins. B, 68 wins. C, 30 wins. Or D, 118 wins.
Oh, wow. Let's go with A.
Going with A.
Well, A was 10, right?
Yes, this is baseball.
Playoff wins, right?
No, this is regular season and
regular season. Oh, God.
10, 68, 30, 118.
Damn. I'm going 68.
68.
68's the final answer.
Final answer. And here's the deal. That is incorrect. It is not 68. You do not have that many. Nobody has that many.
Really?
Not in baseball yet. No. The correct answer is C, 30. But here's what I've been doing. If anyone got a question wrong in the first 3, because we're not just going to play one question here. You need to sacrifice one of your lifelines, hint, 50-50, or double shot. Which one do you want to get rid of?
Get rid of the double shot.
All right, here we go. 20-point question. All right, here we go. Let's dial it in now. All right. What fantasy sport did you win a regular season points championship in? A, fantasy baseball. B, fantasy hockey. C, fantasy ping pong. Or D, fantasy bocce.
Is there a fantasy bocce?
Not yet. Not that I know of.
We'll go with last year's fantasy baseball.
Yeah, yes, that is correct. Yes, it is baseball. Maybe if you ever joined hockey, maybe.
Not a big hockey. I don't know enough players. I know Crosby and Ovechkin.
There you go. All right, here it is. For a checkpoint at 30 points. How many fantasy basketball seasons have you played? Is it A, 1 season, B, 7 seasons, C, 4 seasons, or D, 21 seasons?
Pretty sure it's 4 seasons.
Final answer?
Final answer.
And that is correct. Yes, it is 4 seasons you played. You played 4 of the 5 seasons. All right. You're up to 30. You can't get any less than 30. Okay. Now, if you get one wrong, the game is over.
All right.
All right, here we go for 40 points. How many fantasy basketball playoffs games? How many fantasy basketball playoff games have you played in? A, 1, B, 3, C, 2, D, 4. Basketball playoff games. 1, 2, 3, or 4.
Let me get a 50-50.
Okay, 50-50. 50-50. I'm going to make this a little easy on you, I hope. I'm getting rid of 3 and 2. It is either 1 or 4.
I'm going with 1.
And final answer?
Yes.
And that is correct. Yes, it is 1. You've only played in 1 playoff game in fantasy basketball. You lose a lifeline. You still got hint as a lifeline. Do not be afraid to use it. Here we go. 50 points. What year did you enter JERRY1 Fantasy Sports? A, 2014, B, 2015, C, 2016, or D, 2019? What year did you enter Jerry 1? 14, 15, 16, or 19?
Oh, let me get a hint.
And okay. Your hint. What am I going to give you here? Oh, okay. Your hint. You joined the inaugural season of fantasy basketball, and we just finished the 5th season. What year was that?
We'll go with 2015.
Final answer.
Final answer.
And I'm so sorry, Curt. That is incorrect. It is not 2015. It is 2016.
Really? Wow. I was way off. All right.
Not way off. I only a year, but
Yeah.
2016, 2017. You came in 2016. Well, you finished with 30 points, but every person who plays this millionaire game does get a crack at the 100-point question. Do you want to see the 100-point question?
Yes.
All right, this is very hard, but let's see what you can do with it. Jerry won all the sports, basketball and baseball. How many games have you played, regular season and playoffs? Is it A, 100, B, 115, C, 117, or D, 118?
I'm going to go with 117.
Final answer.
Final answer.
Oh, it's so close. It is 118 games.
Oh.
Oh, that's close. But yeah, you're 118 games. You are 55 and 63 overall.
Not great.
It's all right for those terrible first couple years that you had.
Yeah. Those first couple basketball years were pretty bad.
Yes. If you don't count those, you're over 500.
Yeah.
But, you finished with 30 points. Not bad. All right. Baseball. This baseball team will probably get you on again, maybe in the playoffs, maybe something like that. But will this baseball team, I know your answer, but will this baseball team make the playoffs?
Absolutely. I will make the playoffs one way or another, either because another team's team got hurt or I made a couple good trades. But I will be.
Yeah. Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. Now does it concern you a little bit that two teams that made the finals last year, and Johnny and Paul are outside the playoffs with you?
That's got to be good then, Everyone's struggling a little bit, Everyone's trying to figure out their team and what they need. So I'll give it another month and we'll see who's really in the running for the playoffs.
And it will be really interesting to see how many games back Andrew, Jack, and Josh will be in a few months.
I don't think they check their teams enough.
No, you got Andrew who's out in China.
Yeah.
You got Josh who just doesn't know baseball. And Jack, I just don't know. But Curt, this is a long season. We finally got a long season. It's been 2 years since we've had a season like this.
Yeah.
And I wish the best of luck. Obviously I want to be there. I think I got a good shot at the playoffs. I think you got a good shot too. I think one of those 6 teams could slide back. But a lot of weeks to tell. But Curt, I wish you the best of luck in baseball. And thanks for coming on.
Yeah, appreciate it, man. We have to do it again.
It was good to have Curt on. Good to catch up with him. And and I wish the best of luck for his baseball team going forward. And for a lot of podcasts straight, we usually have talked about another sport, but we have nothing to talk about. That's it. Baseball, that's the podcast. But we do have a few birthday shout outs to shout out today. Slightly belated. It was yesterday, May 24th. Jeremy Fredenberg. Happy belated birthday, Jeremy. Jeremy has been in Jerry 1 since 2014. He was part of the first expansion with Jaron Johnson for fantasy football of the 2014 season. He is the 2016 JERRY1 Fantasy Football Champion, and he's also the 2019 JERRY1 Fantasy Football runner-up. He's had a very successful career in JERRY1 Fantasy Football thus far. Monday, May 24th. Happy belated birthday, Jeremy. Another birthday we have to shout out. This Friday, May 28th. Did I say belated? It's not belated. It's this Friday, May 28th. Jack DeRue. Happy birthday, Jack. Jack has been in JERRY1 since 2018. Came in with Sam Shields at the start of the JERRY1 Fantasy Baseball existence. The first ever season, the inaugural season. That's when Jack and Sam came in. Jack has not won a championship, but he did go to the finals that first year in 2018 inaugural JERRY1 Fantasy Baseball season. It was funny because he played Sam. They both had came in, and they both went into the finals. But Jack's still looking for that first championship. Jack has struggled of late. Hopefully, can turn it around. Friday, May 28th. Happy birthday, Jack. And our final birthday shout out that we have to give out on Sunday, May 30th. Kyle Murphy, another one of my cousins. Kyle has been in JERRY1 since 2019. He's come on strong. He's only played the 2 seasons of JERRY1 Fantasy Basketball. He's done well. Sucks how this season ended for him. He got the other season cut short. Then this season didn't end well for him. Lost in third place game to Blake after being the number 2 seed, getting the bye. But Kyle has done well. Still looking for that first championship. He's a basketball guy. So I expect him to be back once again next season. And when I mean back, I mean competitive and going for the championship. But Kyle he's one of the newer guys in JERRY1. So he's a threat no matter what. Sunday, May 30th. Happy birthday, Kyle. So we got Jeremy's birthday, we got Jack's birthday, we got Kyle's birthday. Tons of birthdays going on right now. Have we shout out everybody in birthdays? Because, July is the 1-year anniversary. Have we gotten everybody? I don't believe so. Because let's we've been dialing it in a little bit. It was Samantha's 9,000 day birthday, my sister, on Tuesday, June 1st. How about that? Oh no, we got Paul. How can we forget about Paul? June 26th. That's coming up. Paul's the GOAT. You can't forget about him. But happy belated birthday, Jeremy. Happy birthday, Jack and Kyle. That's gonna do it. That's episode 30. We've done 30 now. 29 episodes in a row with a guest. I said on the first episode, it's a guest recommended podcast, and that's what it is. We've been doing this since July, like I said. So it's been a good time. Thank you, Curt, for coming on. It was great to talk to you, great to catch up with you. Hopefully you can make the fantasy baseball playoffs. I think it's a better league when you're in it. So, and yeah, that's it. I've been Nick Felice. Set your lineup, and we'll see you on the next JERRY1 Fantasy Sports Podcast. Goodbye.